estate at this time. We're coming into a spring market where we already kicked it off with low inventory, right? And now we've got these homeowners that have pressed the pause button, on selling. Why? Well, for good reason. We've got this little nasty virus kind of flying around right now that has, put a lot of people on edge. And so what I think we're going to have is a very delayed spring market, meaning we're still getting calls as real estate agents. We're still have that demand for housing right now. And, when the first week of this COVID-19 hit, it was sort of like, buyers are gone? What? And now we realize, people have lives. Like, this is, there's a definite need out there. There's a definite demand. And so we've become really creative as real estate agents as to how to handle this because we've been deemed not essential. So I guess just talking about some of the tools.
You think that you guys would still be essential, but obviously rightfully so. I mean, in two different ways. And we went 60 days ago, not even that. It was like gangbusters. It was going to be, we were turning a corner and it was going to be hot. And then all of a sudden we're now at this screeching halt. But like you're talking about, people are still kind of getting their, everything in line so that way when this does break. So what are you guys doing right now? Let's just say I'm calling you right now and I need to sell my house for whatever the reason is, and there's still that sense of urgency. What are you doing right now that's going to kind of set them up so that way you guys don't have to hit the pause, the brakes for so long?
So this is a conversation that I'm having with many real estate agents, is that there are solutions, and with other sellers. A lot of people have sort of had a hard time adjusting their mindset. Look, if you look at statistics, 25 to 30% of home buyers will buy a home that they've never saw, right? They'll buy it virtually. They'll buy it, sight unseen. There's job transfers. There's people that still need to buy and sell real estate. So some of the things that I'm doing is I'm offering homeowners and buyers options. I've got like two piles of people here, basically. I'm saying, are you the person that needs to smell it and touch it before we can, before you are comfortable writing an offer? Or are you the person that's okay with making a decision, virtually? Because if it's virtual, well, look what we're doing right now, right? We're all here on Zoom.
Technology is a beautiful thing.
This is right.
Michelle, 75% of the sellers out there surveyed are holding their prices pretty firm, while many of the buyers out there are starting to think, hey, wait a minute here, maybe it's my turn, maybe it's my shot, maybe it's a buyer's market.
Hey, guys.
Michelle, maybe instead of 4 to 8 offers, now you're getting 2 to 5 offers, because there's still plenty of buyers out there.
You know what? That's Harvey. This week I showed a property virtually 4 times in one day, virtually. So we did a Zoom. I shared videos. I had the seller walk around with their camera in the house. That's real time. It's unedited, right? And then the buyer could say, right now, go downstairs, show me the sump pump, right? Like, how are you going to prepare for that? Either your house is show ready or it's not.
Well, guys, the market.
And we ended up getting 2 offers on 4 Zoom calls.
Yeah, my question is this. Michelle, the market is not going away. It's just on pause. There's no reason why prices should come down. Buyers just took a break. We were forced to take a break right now. And they're not going away. So you still have a pile of buyers. You still have a pile of sellers. Nobody's going away. It just temporarily got disrupted in a major way, I might add. Your business probably is down between 75 and 80% for a 2-month period of time. Now it's going to come back that much stronger when, listen, I'm not big on dates. The all clear is whenever the all clear is. And I know what we're going to do at our office to take steps. However, everybody's just on delay. The market will not go away. It doesn't go down. And like you've heard me say a million times, you're not going to have 0 buyers and 0 sellers. The market's not going down to 0.
And that's exactly true. Yeah. And with
Becky, you got the echo.
I know. Yeah. What I was just trying to say, when it came down to this radio show today, and I had to think about who has something to say during this crazy, unprecedented time that we have never experienced in our entire lives, but also has the experience that has seen the worst of the worst and the best of the best. And you were the first person that came to mind, because you are always constantly evolving. you're not going to there are going to be some agents that think they have literally stopped everything that they're doing. And one agent that has not done that is Michelle Saward from eXp Realty out of Trenton. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to adjust to the ever-changing markets. And this is something that is going to set you apart. We're in something, and everyone's going to be affected by this from one way to another, whether you're touched personally or financially or whatever the situation is going to be. But with people like Michelle in your corner, like right now, having a seller or a buyer's agent could not be more of like the top of your list than ever before.
Yeah, this is my philosophy about it, is that it's who am I to get in their way? Who am I to decide, what a seller's or buyer's priority should be and how they want to go about it? I'm willing to take a consumer as far as they can go, as far as they will ride with me. If it's A to Z from listing your home to closing the transaction, we can do that. If you're simply not comfortable, that's fine. You know what? I respect your space. I understand what you've got going on. But to just automatically shut it down and say, I'm just not going to help anyone at this time, I think that's bananas. So, yeah.
245-39-97-97. It's been a 360 turnaround, that's for sure. We walked into March with the best beginning of the year I could ever imagine. 2020 starts off with a bang. Michelle, you're selling a ton of houses. We got a ton of listings. Unemployment's hit historical all-time lows. And the amount of equity that homeowners have is at an all-time high. It's a 360 within 2 weeks. That's all gone down to 3 years of gains has sort of gone out the window. But again, this recovery should be hopefully as strong as what we've been dealing with. And a little opportunity here. We're going to talk about buyers and sellers opportunities. When we come back, be sure to give us a call, 248-539-9797. morning. All right, there. Hey, you're allowed to take a break. It's not like we have a full staff here.
Yeah.
Or anything, Jim. You can handle it.
Listen, what is that, black cherry?
It's Hardcore Mortgage Business. Brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289. We've got Michelle Saward, EXP Realty, downriver area. Michelle works all the Tri-County, but she's giving us a real good feel and touch of what's going on. Harry brought it up. I'm not going to say any thunder, Harry. Harry, these people, these folks, our friends, our family, some of them are friends, they've been dating online. They've been dating online for years, Harry. I don't know, swipe right, left. I've never gone to those sites. But Harry, they have strangers come to their house and they whatever happens from that point. So there's no doubt, Michelle, we can definitely sell a house on a virtual.
Harvey,
If you can pick a partner online, why can't you pick a house online?
well, and by the way, what's more important? Okay.
Inspection. You can't have that guy come over, that girl come over and say, hey, I need my inspector will be coming over.
Right.
So we'll come back with the test results in 7 days, and then you can show up again.
Buying a house is probably cheaper than a divorce.
You might need to sell a lot of them to a lot of the people that have been together. Nestled down. Hey, look, everyone's a lawn junkie out there. We're Michiganders. We're itching to get out there and do some work. Try to follow the rules out there. Again, I mean, I drove by a couple of the big box stores. It was packed with people. I appreciate the fact that families are out there fixing up their homes, taking advantage of this time right now to do what they need to do to get their house on the market. And there's no doubt about it, Michelle. Potentially, there is an opportunity here. There's just that little bit of opportunity here where you might not be battling against 5 or 6 or multiple offers. Maybe there's just 1 or 2 offers, and you can really separate yourself.
You're absolutely right. And that's what I think is going to happen right now, is that we've been in this fiercely competitive, seller's market. And for those people that are willing to be versatile right now, they're going to win. I mean, look, sellers can't even show their homes for a minimum of 2 more weeks right now. Minimum. Unless people are comfortable virtually. So if you're willing to embrace change, I think this is a great little window to get yourself a nice house.
That's why they're called sellers. A lot of people who've lived in the house for 5 or 10 years really could sell their house quite well. And given that opportunity to brag about all their amenities in their home, it's a great opportunity for sellers out there. They get with someone who's open like you, Michelle, and they're saying, hey, we can do these virtual tours. And again, if they get the offer accepted, they might close the end of May. It gives them an opportunity, still plenty of time to go out there and find another house, because we'll just hope and pray that hopefully we're all out here at the end of April or the beginning of May. We don't know the time frame, but that they can get out there and start looking for homes.
Hey, guys,
look, people that are doing virtual tours and scheduling that right now with their real estate agent, they are extremely motivated. One of the buyers that I got, she was living on occupancy, meaning she sold her house, closed on it, and was either going to be into a hotel situation or she was going to be able to, move into a new purchase. These people are not window shoppers right now.
Okay, yeah, anyone who's out there is definitely serious. 248-539-9790. So we got a little bit of an echo here, but I'm trying to figure that one out.
The technology is crazy.
Hey, question for me. Hey, Michelle, can you hear me?
Refinancing. Let's just dive into a refinancing.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
It's unbelievable. Of course, the opportunity was just tremendous all year long. Rates have been at historical lows for, I do want to call it 10 years, then go ahead. But there's this extra opportunity early in March, and then that all changed. And now we're starting to creep back where we're all catching up, and all the lenders are catching up. But things changed, because of job loss.
Yeah.
The criteria for underwriting got a lot tougher. Credit score.
It was, we preach on this show, so if you're an avid follower, you heard us from the beginning of February saying February's the time, do not wait, lock in your rate. I think we've preached it because you're going to come in one day and the rate's going to change. And unbeknownst to us, the dark horse was this COVID-19, and it changed everything literally overnight. So you're talking where you went from rates went up. They're so volatile right now. So if you didn't lock in your rate at a certain time, and we literally are seeing, and it's not just Capital Mortgage Funding, it's industry-wide, where the market was going up like a full point. Sometimes you're getting repriced a half point in one day, then it'd come back down. We have never seen this kind of volatility in the mortgage interest rates. Even with when the Fed announces they're doing a rate cut, that doesn't necessarily mean that your mortgage interest rates are the ones that are going to be affected. So it was a lot of real quick, tight-knit things that they had to do last minute. The reason why is because they're trying to avoid another 2008. This isn't going to be a recession because the housing markets were overpriced. They're doing everything they can right now to protect the mortgage industry, to make sure that people are in homes that can afford it. So what does that mean to you? You're in the middle of a refinance transaction, or you're calling about a refinance transaction. If you're non-essential, but you're still blessed enough to be able to work from home, it still will make sense. But if you know that you're going to be laid off, why would you want to enter into another mortgage transaction if you cannot make your current payments? You just don't want to do that. Forbearance and the Credit Care Act that came out, you got to talk to your actual current servicer. This is very important. It doesn't mean that you're just getting 6 months off, and it might affect you in the future. The problem is that there's some things that are coming out, some legislation that we don't know how it's going to affect you in the next 6 months to a year when you're trying to get into a new transaction. So you need to make sure that you're making your mortgage payments. If you can't, contact your current servicer and understand what you're getting into before you get into it.
That's a great point. The COVID mortgage relief program, deferment versus forbearance.
Yeah.
Look, if you can borrow a little bit against your 401k, if you're really in that position, you got to do it now. And then maybe keep that credit together, because when things settle down and you're back to work, or you're back making that overtime, you're going to be able to do that refinance transaction. And again, it might be in June or July or August, sometime, hopefully in the next 6 months. But don't go late on that mortgage payment. You must make that phone call. If you're having trouble making the payment, definitely call your lenders and cut some deals with them. There's a lot of them that will go ahead and cut some deals. But I got to tell you, Beck, as you mentioned, the Fed funds rate, no one called us up and said, hey, we're lowering your interest rate on your credit card. And for any of you folks out there listening, any of the clients out there, did anyone call you up and say, hey, we're dropping the interest rate on your home equity loan? The answer is no.
Yeah.
There's no. So the Fed is doing everything they can to keep the economy moving in the right direction. Again, it's 2 months of hell or whatever we're dealing with here, and hopefully not more than that. And then hopefully you can get yourself back on your feet. But don't become late on your mortgage payment.
No.
It's critical that you keep that up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we talk a bit about that? I know Harry was like waving his hand, but the difference between forbearance and deferment, can you guys as mortgage professionals talk about that a little bit so that the public knows?
Harry's been raising his hand. Harry, you want to take that?
Here, no, I wanted to go.
We can't hear him.
I want to go back to a previous topic.
Harry.
Hear me? All right, I'll go back to
Harry, we lost your audio on it, but Harry's going to explain the difference between deferment and forbearance filing. And again, the key is, here to give us a little bit more technicality on it, the moral of the story is, if you've got questions, you've got to call your lender. Don't assume that you can make your payments 6 months from now or 4 months from now, or stop making payments.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, Beck, if your house payment's $1,500 and you don't make a payment for 3 months? Well, you owe $4,500. If they're not agreeing to tack that on to the end of your loan, you've got a big payment due in 90 days.
Okay, so that talks about forbearance. So if I get 6 months off, that means that my payment, I don't have a payment for 6 months. Well, my servicer might say, okay, well, I just gave you 6 months off in a forbearance. Well, guess what? On that 7th month, all of those payments could become due all at once. So now I went from owing $1,000 because I couldn't make my May payment or my April payment to now, at the end of 6 months, because I didn't make those 6 payments, I now owe $7,000 all at once. There's no mandate that dictates that each servicer has to follow the same guideline. It's up to them. So you have to understand when you ask them, hey, I can't make my mortgage payment, and rightfully so, maybe you are one of those people that can't. But if you can, don't just ask to ask, because you're going to put yourself in a bad position if you're not understanding what you're getting into.
Becky, mortgage delinquencies were at all-time lows at the beginning of March. Again, folks, it was only 4 weeks ago. So if you've been in good standing, you're going to be able to make a call and make some arrangements. If you
all right, Harvey, I think I'm back now.
Can I control real quickly? Understand your options, make the phone call. How it will be reported to the credit bureaus? That's what I'm concerned about.
Right.
You think, I'll use this forbearance. No, you got to find out. Important questions to ask. How will your property taxes and homeowner's insurance be paid if you don't make a mortgage payment? These are very important questions.
Oh, very
A
good.
lot of the listeners out there right now are saying, I'm not going to make a house payment. Well, folks, your summer tax bill's due. And there needs to be enough money in that escrow account on July 1st so that your lender can go ahead and make that payment. So it's a real tricky time of the year, especially with that coming up, is that summer tax bill. So again, if you have an escrow account, you have to ask all these important questions to your lenders. How will it be reported to the credit bureau? How will the interest be added on to the loan? What about taxing insurance?
Hey, it's Roberto. Do you know why Harry's not coming through?
Negatively report you late on your credit during this time. However, that doesn't mean that mistakes aren't going to happen.
Okay, I think he just tried to talk again, and no one was hearing him. You can hear him, though?
Okay, well, how long is that going to take? Because the system is so bogged down right now as far as when it comes to certain things that there might be one that slipped through the cracks. So why would you, if you're in a position where you can continue to make your mortgage payment and you need to continue to make that mortgage payment, because you don't want to hinder yourself in 6 months when you are trying to buy a new house with Michelle Saward. You don't want to get in a position where now we don't know how the credit's affecting you and you're going to be put on a longer hold because now you had some credit issues we got to clean up.
Hey, we're up against a quick break, Michelle. When we come back, let's really dive into what's going on. What's going on in the seller's mind out there as they're thinking about getting their house, accepting that offer, and then where are they going to move? Again, some of the different language that we can put on purchase agreements. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. Not too bad outside, April 11th, 2020. sun is shining, definitely an opportunity to get out there. And if you're thinking about becoming a homeowner, get the right people involved. You got to call Capital Mortgage Fund and get a strong approval letter. But not only that, the approval letter, get the knowledge behind your back. That's one of the things I talked so often last week. I think I talked to 3 clients. They said they had some approval letters from some other lenders. And I asked them a real simple question. And Michelle, you asked this question. I said, well, have you submitted any of your paperwork? And all three of the candidates to get a mortgage said no. And I simply asked them, how do you have a pre-approval if you've never submitted any of your paperwork? Again, there are pre-qualifications letter back, then there's these approval letters. And if you have a real approval letter, that means that your file's been run through, you've got a mortgage originator go through and qualify you and break down your tax returns based on bank statements, the general information, and now you're out there. And Becky, you're out there as a strong buyer with a lot of confidence.
Right now, more so than ever, is going to separate the professionals from the slappies. And, you need, if you're looking at an offer and you have some pre-approval letter from some company that you don't know or you had a bad experience with, naturally you want to move on from that, because you have to deal with people that can deal with this situation. And appraisals, those are going to be naturally, there's issues and we're working through them. So what are we doing right now? You have to get your house appraised. We are making sure that everyone's safety is top of mind, okay? Not only our vendor partners, but our clients. So when someone's going into your home, we're trying to find ways to, we've gotten okays where if they have a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan, you can do an appraisal where you don't have to actually walk into the house. There's different things that we're doing. But as far as like inspectors, we want to make sure that they have gloves on, masks on. When it comes to closings, we're adapting to the situations, and the real professionals are going to be the ones that know how to do that.
So that is important, everybody.
From our office calling in. John, as you know, higher scores are now required on the government loans, the FHA, USDA loans. But if you have your funds together, if you've got credit, you got good credit, job security, now's a great opportunity. You have job security, your funds to close, and you've always had good credit. Aren't you a great buyer now? It gives you a great opportunity.
Can't hear me, man. No.
Yeah, it's a great vibe out there. Michelle, what are your hot cities, and what do you think a lot of the people out there, the sellers, what do you find the seller's next move is for the majority of the homes that you've got listed? What are their plans?
It's really such a large variety. We're even seeing some of the younger, first-time home buyers coming out. These millennials really don't have a problem buying online. Not at all.
There's a lot of purchase
so that's a big market. Oh, I'm sorry, Harry, what was that?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead here.
Oh my God.
Okay,
All right, so there are a lot of purchases. We spent the first half of the show talking about what's not happening in the market. I like to focus on what's going on in the market because there's still a lot of purchase transactions going on right now. We're facilitating closings all day and every single day. Now, there are some changes, right? Becky touched upon it. I think it's a very important point that we bring up during a transaction. If we go ahead and verify your employment 10 days or a week before the transaction's about to close, then we go ahead and we are obligated to now during these times is call your employer on the day of a closing, and they say that you're not employed, whether it's a refinance or a purchase transaction, you're not going to close. And to Becky's point is that it's important to understand that, because why would you want to put yourself in that position right now, not knowing when you're going to go back to work. Now, there's a difference between being furloughed. If we call and they say you're furloughed and you're going to be able to come back in 2 or 3 weeks and there's a date and we can verify it, then you could still close. So that's a separate distinction. There's a distinction between knowing when you're going to come back and being able to verify it, and then not knowing when you're going to come back and not being able to verify it. So I think common sense will dictate the following. If you don't know when you're going to come back, why would you want to close on a transaction, number one? And number two, you're not going to be able to close on that transaction. That's what I got.
One of the most resilient components of the home purchase sentiment index is job security. And of course, job security has been our strongest over the last 3 or 4 years. The unemployment figures are all-time lows. And again, Harry makes mention of being furloughed is a lot different than being laid off. And again, time will only tell where you're going to end up. So if you don't get that refinance done now, that's okay.
Right.
You might even close on your purchase at a little bit higher rate now if you're just thinking about purchasing. But you'll have that opportunity later in the year.
Yeah, it's important. And right now, more than ever, we all need to work together, because the biggest thing is that we don't know what's happening from day to day. And for example, I called in last week just to kind of give everyone an idea of why, more so than ever, we have to work together. So a client of ours, we're trying to rush it, get it done, and the home went into foreclosure.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing right now, is that, that's why I say it's not my decision to make about how this should go. You got to present the options to the homeowner and let them decide the path. So it's really, walking clients into the future to show their options and how this could play out. If someone's getting a low appraisal right now, they might not want to, just as an example, fight it. They may say, you know what? This means more to me now to get it done, because I'm not going to be able to show my home for the next 2 weeks. There's all this uncertainty in the world. This is at least certain. And people, I think, just really want something that's certain right now. So that's why I think there's some great opportunities out there right now for people who are willing to, roll with the times and, try up something different and
Well, you
be
should be a
flexible.
human being during these times. You have to be a human being. You have to allow certain flexibilities. I don't understand why there's such a premium right this second on closing on a Thursday versus closing on a Friday, or closing on a Tuesday versus closing on a Wednesday. I mean, what's magical during this time if it doesn't close on that Tuesday, but we have to push it back to the Wednesday? What, does everybody turn into a pumpkin? No. So be a human being. Let's make sure that the transaction is convenient for everybody on a day that we can absolutely close it. It might take us another day to verify somebody's employment, right? Because HR departments are getting inundated with calls. They've got to deal with their furloughed and temporarily laid off employees rather than talk about a verification of employment for a mortgage lender in a real estate transaction. So if it takes another day or 2 or 3, as long as we know that it's going to be scheduled, and remember, the lender schedules the closing with the title company. That's what happens. So in order of importance, remember, Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, we tell it like it is. The client is number one. Next is the person that brings the money. Because without the client and without the money, you can't do the transaction. That's just the way it is. Sorry for being hardcore this morning. That's the way it is. So let's all be human beings.
Isn't it a Celine Dion song?
That's amazing. There's no doubt I love it. The Federal Reserve is, obviously these are all new programs. A little slow, probably getting the stimulus check out or whatever they're going to call it. A little frustration on the unemployment sites. There's a lot of the people out there that have come across unemployment trying to get their information in the computer. Again, there's only so many workers. Same thing happened in the mortgage industry. There's only so many people that could facilitate and close a transaction back. But again, we're starting to catch up, and hopefully a lot of the families out there that were told by Capital Mortgage to sit tight another week or so, hopefully we'll start calling you back here and really working on some new numbers for you. There's some really great opportunities out there to refinance and save money. There's no doubt out there that the other side of this recovery is going to be a lot better, and hopefully the summer of 2020 can really kick off in the right direction.
That's true.
I mean, Harry and Harvey, what you guys just said is really do what you can to move the ball down the field now. Because if you're, I mean, it may be a slow process, like what Harry said. So what if it takes an extra day, takes an extra week? It is a priority. But I think what's going to also happen on the buy-sell side is, look, there's things that we're not going to be able to do for a little while, right? Like municipal inspections. Those are going to be challenging. The court systems are closed. So if people have monies that are going to be coming as a result of court action or, anything that needs to happen with probate, like these kinds of things are going to be slowing us up.
Why are we getting so much feedback?
It's just,
Yeah.
This big shit.
to show 945. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We're in our 20th year of giving you some mortgage and real estate talk here. Hopefully a lot of good folks just hanging tough. We got Becky coming up with sports, social commentary, of course, right after our show. Be sure to call Capital Mortgage throughout the week. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Right here.
Save on closing costs, get a great interest rate. But, Becky, one of the things we talk about is education. The knowledge that you're going to get is superior to anybody else. How do I know that? Because you folks call me during the week. You told me you talked to 2 or 3 different lenders and you can't answer the same kinds of questions. So do yourself a favor. Save a lot of money. Get that confidence behind you. I like that. Yeah. Some confidence behind you. Michelle, lots to talk about buying and selling real estate. We said there's opportunities out there. 1 in 5 our clients out there last year bought FHA. They had lower credit scores. And in 2019, that's quite a bit. The numbers were pretty high. But we definitely need to get those buyers, get their credit scores up, because there's been a little bit of a change, and we don't want to lose all those buyers.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, is that the credit scores are a little bit more strict now. Is that, yeah?
Yeah, 1,000%. So
I mean, they kind of need to be.
Yeah, they need to be. And again, we're seeing it now because a lot of the families that were pre-approved, actually a lot of the people that were pre-approved just 2 or 3 months ago, or even 6 months ago, you need to contact your lender or call Capital Mortgage Funding. Get a real start in the right direction. And I think that's the key, is have a direction, have some knowledge behind you, and then you can really make some better decisions. But yes, Michelle, hopefully, again, we're going to have enough buyers out there. We see that the inventory is sort of keeping up with things, and we're expecting a lot of inventory to hit probably once this virus gives us the okay that we can go back out again.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit about this on the break, is that do what you can do now. So if it is, focusing on getting that credit score cleaned up, if it's getting the house in order, if it's, when it comes to even listing your home, some of the stuff I'm doing now is I'm having sellers take their own photos, and then my photographer can tweak them and make them nice so that we're ready to go live, and we're not going to have this, on the pent-up demand for professional photography, pent-up demand for contractors, pent-up demand. Like, there's going to be so much on the back end of this that it's going to be, you're going to have to get in the queue, get in the line to have things done on the other end of it. So please, if you need to have that conversation with your lender, with your real estate agent about how you can, prepare far in advance. Hey, look, I'm doing Zoom walkthrough calls with people right now where sellers are sending me videos of their house, and they're saying, hey, Michelle, is this room good enough? I've got a client right now. Should I take this mirror down on my kid's bedroom wall?
Hey, Michelle, hold on.
They're doing what they can do to get prepared. So just anything we can do to help move that ball down the court, we're gonna do that for you.
You know what I'm
I think I agree. I mean, right now, more so than ever, setting the proper expectations is everything. From right now, your new sellers that are trying to come on the market to these buyers that you're doing this damage control because they're freaking out because they don't know what's happening, or maybe they were going to do an FHA and now they can't because we have to get their scores up. And even, on the lending side, I mean, you have to be a life coach more so than ever because, just because someone is, might be laid off right now, we're not being like, okay, sorry, bye. No, we're getting you in line so that way we're constantly we're moving your file because we know that you're going back to work. This is a temporary thing, a temporary normal that we're all experiencing.
Is Harry on, or are they just ignoring him?
What we're doing to make sure that we have the success is what Michelle's touching on, where we're not waiting. We're not going to create this bottleneck after the fact. We're pushing.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're coaching you, and I want to hear a little bit more about.
All right. Well, we're doing the best we can.
Like when they're calling you, you're like, I want to see a house, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're right on virtual, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I'm giving them the options. I'm saying, look, here's what we can do for you on the virtual side.
Yeah, I would like that, but just take your time. It's no rush at all.
On Zoom with us. So I got the buyers on Zoom. I got their agent on Zoom. I've got my seller on Zoom. So, and we're showing as much video and as many photos as we can. And if that doesn't satisfy and they need to wait, I mean, hey, look, we're just getting offers with more contingencies now. I mean, the contingencies are they are what they are, but I've got, like, even when you're talking about, I feel like the mortgage lender and the real estate agent need to really be at a high professional level right now. You got to be A game, because we are camp counselors. And, I mean, people are freaking out. Like, I've got some clients right now. They're like, hey, we don't know for sure if we want to buy this house. And I'm saying, look, you don't have to make your decision right now. Like, you're in contract. Let's see what happens with your employment. Let's let that. You're gonna go back to work. Breathe.
Well, Michelle, what I'm really worried about
for the sellers is you guys are protecting your sellers also is
Myrtle, they can't hear me.
We're seeing that
Oh, yeah.
now you're accepting an offer, but you're keeping some of the backup people around a little
Yes.
bit better than you used to. Maybe you didn't even return that phone call in the past, where now you're calling the other agent and saying, look, you guys got a strong offer. You're just not as strong as the first offer, but if you really like the house, you never know. And sometimes what's meant to be is meant to be.
I've gotten that on the routine right now, and I'm doing that more than ever. You know, deal number 1 fell apart because of COVID-19. I'm calling anyone who's seen the house before, they've seen the house before, and saying, are you still in play? And I'm resurrecting deals that I just would have thought they would have been moved on to another property. So there's a lot of hope for people right now.
Yeah, Michelle, that happens a lot. I know as buyers are out there looking at a home, and then they stumble upon something else. But then they look at a 10 or 5 or 10 more. Well, that's a lot of work right there. But then they're circling back to the first handful of homes that they saw, and they're like, you know what? For the money, that one we saw a couple weeks ago was probably the best deal for the money. And now they're going back and finding out that house is still in the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michelle, I got a question for you, because we've got a lot of buyers out there that, while they're on furlough, that want to look at homes. Now, if someone comes to you and says, hey, I want to put an offer in on my house, but I can't close until I go back to work, how are you and your sellers looking at that? Because right now, I know, once again, not really coming to you in person, but coming to you on Zoom or virtual, if they have the time to research and look at houses now when they've got some time off, they're doing that.
Absolutely. My little joke is that people have Netflix and like Realtor.com right now, like this, and so it goes right back to when something like that comes about. I'm connecting with the lender, and I'm verifying. Okay, what do you know for sure to be true? How viable is this? And then Becky is going to call me up, and she's going to say, absolutely. They work in the salon business, and, they're definitely going to be returning to work. And we've got, 4 or 5 years of tax statements to prove that their income has been solid and that it's an established business, whatever, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
This is what we're doing.
It's just a lot of work that we have to do, forward thinking, right? And we're not here for the present right now transaction. We're doing a lot of work for the future for our clients, because that's how we would want to be treated, making sure that we're setting them up for success. So, I love to hear that people are accepting offers with knowing that people are not working and going back to work, because that means that we're all working together, and that's important.
Yeah. The reality, too, is that we do so much of our due diligence up front anyway, so we're not really affected by this, other than the fact that we now, in some cases, we might have to wait till they do go back to work, because we were unable to get it done before we got this layoff, because everyone knew it was coming. We just didn't know exactly when. But because we do our due diligence up front, we know that it's just a temporary pause. And if someone that we pre-approved is still just as much valid, we just need to do those verifications, because now there's more checks and balances. Whereas before we would do a verification of employment 10 days before closing, now we got to do it 3 days before, and we have to do it the day of, because things are ever changing right now, and it's no one's fault. We just have to do what we can to protect ourselves and protect the buyers, because you don't want them closing on a house and do them a disservice on a home that they might not be able to afford right away because of what's happening right now.
Yeah, look, life is going to go on after COVID-19.
Yes.
It's going to, and it's going to pick up most likely just where it left off. All indicators are showing a strong buying market. We're showing a pent-up, batch of listings that are going to be coming on the market to service this buyer demand. When this thing lifts, everyone is going to be, busier than a one-legged man in a bucket.
It's gonna create that rush again. So instead of the spring market, it's gonna be summer, fall market. It's just gonna carry us right on to 2021.
Well, definitely get your fundamentals together. Don't be the problem. Get your
Don't be the problem.
You got to talk to your mortgage people, a real mortgage banker.
Yeah.
There's 1,000% difference between mortgage bankers and mortgage brokers and headset phone jockeys. So you've got to pick who you want to represent you and who you're going to work with through the transaction. Make sure that person is not only feeding you great knowledge, but also preparing you for home ownership, because that credit piece has really changed, where the credit scores are becoming a little bit scrutinized now, a lot more than they were just even 3-4 weeks ago.
Yep.
All right, guys, final thoughts. That's it. The music says we're out of here.
I've never heard Harry be so silent in my whole life.
Yes, can't hear me.
No listeners out there for being patient with us.
No,
Podcasting here on 97.1 The Ticket. We've got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket.
Thank you, Michelle.
For Michelle Saward,
Thank you.
She's going to be selling houses. Go check her out downriver or look her up. You can always give her a call. For Harry Glanz, John Cole, Becky, I'm Harvey Freed. We'll catch you next Saturday.